So are you ready to step into your power?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. What am I? Your big, glorious spiritual power. And today we're going to be talking about a very specific kind of empowerment. Empowerment of the divine masculine, which we all have in us. Divine masculine, divine feminine. We know that the infinite, the consciousness itself, does not have agendas, but it's qualities. So empowerment is a quality we're going to embrace today. We're going to look at that empowering energy of the divine masculine. And I want to start out with this little story. Young man was just about to graduate from college. And for many months he had admired the sports car that was in the local dealership. And knowing his father could well afford it, he told him, "That's the only thing I want for my graduation." So as graduation day approached, the young man awaited signs that his father had purchased the car. And finally, on the morning of his graduation, his father called him into his study, and he told him how very proud he was of him, and that how much he really loved him. And then the father handed the son a beautifully wrapped gift box. Curious and somewhat disappointed, the young man opened the box and found a lovely leather-bound Bible embossed in gold with his name on it. Angrily, he raised his voice to his father and said, "With all your money, and knowing that the only thing I really wanted was that car, that sports car, you give me a Bible." He threw the Bible on his father's desk and stormed out of the house, not to return for many, many, many years. And as those years passed, the young man lived his life. He was relatively happy. He had the home, beautiful home. He had a gorgeous car, a wonderful family. But he always had this sadness within him, this feeling that something was missing. And guilt for the way he had treated his father. And for that fact, he had not seen him since that graduation day, many years ago. And he came to realize that his father now was very old, and he decided perhaps he should go and see him. But before he could make arrangements, he received a letter from a lawyer telling him that his father had passed away and had willed all of his possessions to his son. He needed to come immediately and take care of things. When he arrived at his father's house, he began to go through his important papers. And what did he discover there but that Bible that was in the same place that he had left it years ago? With tears now in his eyes, he opened the Bible, and his father had very carefully marked and underlined this verse. "If therefore you who err know how much to give good gifts to your son, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to you who ask him?" And as he read those words, a car key dropped from the back of the Bible. It had a tag on it with the dealer's name. And it was, too, that car, the very car that he so desired. And on the tag was the date of his graduation and the words, "With all my love and blessings for a rich and powerful life." God helps. The empowering energy of the divine masculine, the power, the protection, and the providing are always within us. They're within us. All of these qualities are within us. Always available, always in always. We just have to be open enough to receive it. We have to receive it when it comes along, because it's igniting that within us. But sometimes it's because of our wounding and our hurt that we just cannot. But just like the story of the son who had not truly opened to receive his father's gift, some of that wounding and hurt comes from relationships we had with our human fathers. But before I go into that, and then more importantly, into the empowering energy of divine masculine, I want to acknowledge that many of us had wonderful, loving, protective, providing, caring fathers. And I want you to know that that was a great thing, and those who are here today, we recognize and honor that. But maybe you didn't always have this kind of father. And whether your father is still on this earth plane or not, you can always acknowledge and silently thank him just for being. Because without him, you wouldn't be here. You need a male and a female, right? So ain't it, you know. But anyway, I want you to take a moment right now. Just take a moment, whether he is in earthly form or not, and just say thank you for this life. You get to live. And many of us did not have that kind of father. Some of us didn't have fathers at all. They might have passed away before we even knew them or born. Well, yeah. Some of us had fathers who were physically with us but emotionally absent. Then we go to the other extreme and have people who had fathers who were hurtful and even abusive. So I am well aware that this day is a mixed pot of emotions for many people. Just like Mother's Day was. You know, it brings up memories. But whatever your relationship with your human father was, as adults now, as spiritually maturing adults, we desire to step more and more into the empowered living that can be so beneficial to us and allow us to be that kind of presence on this planet, to be beneficial presence. And I can't say that enough. I say it so much, but I really mean it. To step into a more empowered way of living life so that we can be as strong and as powerful as we wish. And the power I'm talking about is the good power. We don't want power over other people, power over ourselves, power to believe in ourselves. We have a divine Father that lives around, in, through, and as us all the time. And that energy of the divine masculine empowers us, male or female. Our relationship with our earthly father is secondary to that of that divine masculine. That identity, that one presence, the Father that is living through us, as us, the empowering energy of the divine masculine that is ever present, always there. We have feminine sides, we have, and Ernest Holmes talks about this a lot in his Science of Mind book. You know, we have a masculine side. These are just qualities of who we are. And who we are is made out of pure consciousness. It's made out of God's stuff. And we begin to and celebrate the energy of the divine masculine today. It's Father's Day. We honor that power, the protection, and the providing of the divine masculine, and all of which plays a vital role in moving us forward on this evolutionary journey. And in case you really don't believe it, we are evolving. We always evolve. We cannot go backwards. We're spiraling upward. And I want to spend a little time today looking at these empowering qualities that I have just spoken of, as they live in all of us. The qualities of the divine masculine are power, protection, and providing. And what can I say that I haven't already said so many times before, but I don't get tired of hearing it because I forget. You know, I forget it sometimes, so it's really great to be reminded. For starters, before the power, the protection, and the providing energy of the divine masculine can empower our lives, we have to realize that it is already, as I said, here, present within us. This is what happens. I don't know why, but we close down to that which is in us, and we're looking everywhere outside to complete us, to empower us. We're always looking. I'm here to talk and also learn about it's already there, and just remembering how powerful we are. So we're going to look at the divine masculine right now. The Bible tells us, to them he came, to them he gave the power to become. So we know we're always becoming, unless we're just stagnant. And that is like such a dread to me. I don't want to be stagnant. We're becoming. The Bible, I just said that. Holmes tells us the formula for accessing him. And he wrote this on page 454. We are powerful only as we unite with power. We are weak when we desert this power. So let us remember always to turn within and unify with that power that is within each and every one of us. And I have quotes today. This is a little wordy because it's Thomas Troward, New Thought writer, 1800s, early 1900s, and he wrote this in the Dory Lectures. Our wisest plan is to follow the pattern of the parent mind. We will call it the energy of the divine masculine this morning, and make a mental self-recognition of our starting point. Then the great self-recognition is that of our relationship to the supreme mind. That is the generating center. And we are distributing centers, just as electricity is generated at the central station and delivered in different forms of power by reason of passing through appropriate centers of distribution, so that in one place it can light a room, and in another place it can drive a car, and there are many different ways this power unfolds. It does not interfere with the lines of his individuality, but works along with them, thus making him not less, but more of himself. I don't want to read anymore. Thomas Troward was very wordy. Anyone familiar with Thomas Troward? He lacked punctuations. Forget about run-on sentences. Go on. The whole page was a run-on sentence. You get the point. So number 2, the next one, we're going to look at protection. Protection by the divine masculine. And in his book, in the book of Ephesians, we are told to put on the whole armor of God so that we will be protected. So discussing this passage, Ernest Holmes wrote in Science of Mind book. We base a lot of our teachings on Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind book. The armor of God is faith in the good, the enduring and the true. Against such there is no law. That is the truth, nothing can stand. The armor of God suggests protection to those who believe and trust in the law of good. With this armor knit together by the thread of unity running throughout all, strong with the strength of the Almighty, burnished with clear vision and true estimates of life and reality, we are safe. We abide under the shadow of the everlasting truth. Safe. How many people like to feel safe? I know I went through a whole period where I didn't feel safe at all. I felt very unsafe. So security and safety were a big, huge part of my well-being, to feel safe. And when we turn within, when we acknowledge that the good of God is always for us, that universal power is always supporting us, that's when we can take that heart breath that we did last week and return to that place of peace within ourselves before we go out into this world. So, knowing that we are protected when we realize the divine everlasting arms surround us, that is the principle of protection, making very real the promise in the Bible that said, "He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield." And that brings us to our third quality, providing. Providing of the divine masculine. Whenever we speak our word, with that belief that our word cannot return to us void. It can't return empty. That's why affirmative prayer works so well. It cannot return empty as long as we are open to receive and believe. We are recognizing and accepting the providing principle of the divine masculine, which is the giving nature of the universe. It is always there for us, always present, always giving of itself. Charles Fillmore, founder of Unity, in his book Prosperity, wrote this: "We live in," one of our favorite words, "an opulent. We live in an opulent universe." Don't forget that. We live in an opulent universe. Supply and success are our rightful inheritance. Prosperity manifests not by asking God for more, but by conditioning our minds through prayer to accept the presence of the providing principle in our lives. We are always taken care of. I've proved this to myself over and over again. When it looked like there was like nothing there, always turning, knowing that the universe, God, consciousness always provides. Would move on, and then it would. Avenues would open, streams of flow would take place, because I believed it, and it worked. So prove it to yourself. So I would like to conclude this talk with a reading from Eric Butterworth, author of many books, but Spiritual Economics, which we read a lot. And we want to reflect on these ideas. So I'm going to close with this reading, so if you want to just take it in. God is my supply, everywhere, evenly present, and as immediately available as the air I breathe. The moment a need arises in my life, God's infinite substance is immediately at hand to fill it. I am a child of God, and it is right and good that I manifest abundance. as God's child, I have been given the wisdom and intelligence to bring into expression all that I need for my well-being and comfort. God inspires me with good judgment in handling the supply that already is mine, and opens the way to greater good, greater opportunities, and greater blessings. Always good, always giving, but we have to be open to receive. These ideas, these qualities of the divine masculine power, protecting and providing, all live in each and every one of us. They live in us. They are alive in us. We are alive. That essence within us does not die. It cannot die. It is eternal, immortal. So whether you are a male or a female, whether you had a glorious relationship or an horrific relationship with your earthly father, that doesn't matter in this case. So the empowering question for you today is, are you ready to step into your power? To enjoy the safety of divine protection that surrounds you, and to be open to the giving nature of the infinite provider of all good. If you are, then your life will reflect the spiritual empowerment of the divine masculine within you. So, happy Father's Day to all of us.